I realized I hadn't actually pulled out my wet ingredients, so I went ahead and did that, and I made a really fun discovery for this. We don't have any milk. Hi, I'm Kate, and welcome to Always Tuck and Roll. We discuss life, the universe, autism, and pretty much anything else because, again, if you can think of anything that doesn't fall into those categories, I would love to hear it because I might have been too encompassing. Sky is the limit. Today we're gonna bake. We're gonna make some oatmeal protein muffins, chocolate chip. And we're gonna do this because I need breakfast. I'm out of this, and I have been making muffins for the past few months, and I thought I would bring y'all along on the journey in my little tiny kitchen. So we'll go there in just a minute. But first, I thought I would explain. So I had the same protein bar for breakfast, along with a little applesauce pouch, every single morning for the last 8 years. And then, in addition to the price skyrocketing, the availability becoming questionable at best, the shrinkflation of it all going from 12 bars to 10, and the price being between $5 and $10 more, like, it was just absurd. And it started to mess with my stomach, which, I mean, that's my life. Everything messes with my stomach. It is what it is. It sucks. But I realized through researching other options that everything else was also going to be expensive. With my food allergies and sensitivities, it's really hard to find food. Like, I'm allergic to cinnamon. Do you know how many things cinnamon gets added to because it's good for you? And because people really like the flavor? And, like, I get it, but I can't have it. I can't even have a little bit. I can't even smell it. I can't walk into a bakery without being itchy all over. So I'm not going to use cinnamon. But it was really hard, and I tried so many different things. And finally I settled on I have to bake. So I was like, all right, I'll make protein muffins. But first it was, well, what type of protein do I want to use? Do I want to use, well, I didn't want to go with whey because I know I have a problem with whey protein a lot of the time because that's my lactose problem. And I was hesitant to go towards like a gluten-based one because I can't have whole wheats. I can't have multigrain. If I'm gonna have bread, it has to be the most basic white bread on the planet, or it's going to destroy my stomach. So this all, comes into play. So plus different protein powders add different, some make things drier, some makes things wetter. So it was really hard to decide what I was going to do. So I settled on collagen peptides because from what I could tell, they had the least likely chance of messing with your flavor. It didn't really take moisture away, and it didn't add a ton, but it added a little, but not in like way, gotta really adjust things. You could just bake with it. It was good to dissolve it. It's good to dissolve it in the liquids that you're cooking with first and foremost. So in this case, I like to dissolve it in milk. So it's been a process of experiment. I found a really great versatile muffin recipe after a few trial and errors with other muffins. This is maybe the 4th time I've made these muffins, though every time's a little bit different, and I'm not going to follow the recipe entirely because this is not a protein muffin recipe. This is just a muffin recipe I've decided to add protein powder to. And isn't that fun? And experimental baking is not really like my jam. I like to bake, but I don't like to, I don't like food waste. It makes me very ill. And I'm sure I'm going to mention that again because I've met me and I am that neurotic about it. But anyway, let's get to the kitchen. That way. Welcome to my tiny kitchen. What you see is what you get. When Pete and I are trying to work in here together, it's a good thing that, like, he's tall and thin and I'm short and pear-shaped, so that our positive and negative spaces just kind of fit together like puzzle pieces and we can just move around the room. It's a little bit like playing Frogger, I'll be perfectly honest, when we like try to make breakfast or bake something together. But so, as you can see, I have pre-measured a lot of my ingredients. I did record getting all of my ingredients out. Okay, so now that we've got our ingredients, we can get the show on the road. So, I realized I hadn't actually pulled out my wet ingredients, so I went ahead and did that, and I made a really fun discovery for this. We don't have any milk. Not least not the milk that I was anticipating on using. I am lactose intolerant, so we use lactate milk for because that way I can cook with it and bake with it, even though it still gives me a stomach ache when I drink a glass of it. So figure that one out. It's probably maybe I'm milk protein, not lactose. Hard to say when stuff just decides to happen to your body when you're in your late 20s. So it's 10 years of this and I still haven't figured it out. But luckily, in this recipe that I'm using, which I will link below, it does say milk of your choice. It doesn't say don't use plant-based. So I happen to have some unsweetened vanilla almond milk. I would prefer to not use a flavored milk in this, but at least it's unsweetened. So I need 1 cup of milk. So we'll measure that out. And we're going to do this in a way that you can't see what I'm doing. Because, wait, hold on. What happens if I lower this, things will go bad. You know what? You don't need to see me measuring milk. We'll move the camera in a minute. Meniscus in the right spot. That's the top of the line. That's where you know to measure. Thanks, home ec class. Let's start combining ingredients. Oh, first, most important, let's turn the oven on. Now, this recipe calls for 350, but upon more research on baking, I've learned that if you want higher tipped muffins, so like nice peaks as opposed to flat, you should cook them at a higher temperature for 5 minutes and then drop the temperature down. So we are gonna we're gonna preheat to 425. I could probably get away with 450, but I am terrified of doing that. Let me know if you think that would be fine. I just don't know. Okay, we've got our oven preheating. Now let's get to combining our ingredients. Okay, first up, we're going to put our milk in a bowl. Being sure to knock against your metal bowl so you have to hear the dinging noise. It's a good thing my tinnitus isn't acting up today. Oh wait. Now, before we add in our oats, which is the next step on the recipe, I'm going to add in 2 scoops of some collagen peptides, because the whole reason we are making these muffins again is because I need like a good protein-fueled breakfast. So I find that dissolving 2 scoops of this into my milk first really does help, and it gives the muffins a little bit more staying power. Now, the nice things, stir this up all well and good. I've never done this with almond milk before, so this is an experiment and I hope it works. I have no status of the milk. I should have checked. This is on me. Alright, it's still clumpy, but you know what? I almost said meatloaf. Wouldn't that be a horrifying thing? I'm gonna make meatloaf for dinner tonight. Probably. Get the whisk out of the way. Put there. So these are 1 minute quick oats. I didn't want to have to wait around. I found this recipe by Googling quick oat muffin recipes. So I like to we just need to let the oats sit together the oats and milk sit together for about 10 minutes. So we'll set that aside. And I will in no way be approximate. And now we'll use some of this time. So here in this messy bowl, move my oats over somewhere else in my tiny kitchen so you can see my awesome flour. So we have 1 cup of all-purpose flour, and we've got half a cup of sugar, and we're going to add 2 teaspoons of baking powder. Ooh, that was a terrible noise. I hope that didn't get picked up. Sorry. A half teaspoon of baking powder. We are also going to add in a half a teaspoon of salt. Or we're going to say approximately half a teaspoon of salt, because I think don't ever add the full salt amount, because I don't want to. We will also put the dry ingredient, or the chocolate chips, into there, and I'll grab another spoon. Oats have all solidified, and now we can go add the rest of our wet ingredients. So we're going to add an egg, which I have already mixed up, 2 teaspoons of apple cider vinegar. You can use white. I think it works so much better. It's 2, right? Yes, 2 teaspoons. That would be, it's the type of ingredient you don't want to really mess up. But let's be honest here, what ingredient do you want to mess up when you're baking? Baking is chemistry. Okay, so I got my tablespoon. And yeah, I should probably buy like a jar. But where's the fun in that? Let's be honest here, guys. Alright, and I am using applesauce instead of using oil or nut butter or regular butter. Alright, so now we're going to mix up our wet ingredients. And then we're going to hope when I grab the dry bowl that it doesn't tip the camera over. So, fingers crossed. Baking is definitely okay. There we go. See, the problem is I have no counter space and very limited places to set stuff up. So, yeah, it's just, okay, so I'm combining my dries into my wets. I'm not going to alternate because I'm not making a cake. Like, that's not what this is about. And there. So, now, you don't want to over mix an oatmeal recipe because oatmeal's got such good fiber and protein in it already. Alright, so basically it's just mixed. There's no dry ingredients, but this isn't like, I'm not going to mix it anymore. So now we are going to find our muffin pan and grease the heck out of it, and we'll come back and load this goop up into my bowl. Okay, now we have a way overly greased muffin pan. I'll be perfectly honest, I always go overboard because there's nothing more disappointing. Just notice a wet spot. Than not getting your stuff out. And yeah, I could use muffin cups, the liners. I haven't decided how I feel about silicone things yet. I know a lot of people use them, but I hate paper muffin liners. Like, I really do. Did not do a very good job making these even, but I'll be perfectly honest, I almost never do. Should I be using this spatula right now? Absolutely. Am I gonna? No, I've already got a lot of dishes to wash because I pre-measured my ingredients. So now I'm wiping off all of the excess spray. See, I went whole hog. Well, I'll be wiping down my floor anyway. Cool. Alright. Now, we've got our muffins loaded, and now we're going to put them in the oven, but I'm not going to move the camera, for 5 minutes. So now I will see you in 5 minutes. I swear there's a thumb. 5. Oh! 5 minutes! Woo! Alright, let's not annoy the neighbors more than that. And now we are gonna do not open the oven. It's counterintuitive, don't open the oven. Just drop your temperature down to the correct one. Okay, and it will go automatically. And we also need to cook it for another 15 minutes. So, hopefully, things are going well. We don't know. And hopefully I don't trip over my ladder because it is sort of in the way. But, fingers crossed that everything goes well. So, I'm going to finish cleaning up my little tiny kitchen because if you let mess stay, any mess, even just like a bowl on the counter, kitchen is destroyed. It's messy. Sorry. This is too small a space to not be organized, which keeps us honest and helps stave off entropy. So, yay, tiny kitchen! We are on the final countdown, probably. From what I can tell, looking inside the window, you know, we have muffin tops, so good there. Ooh, let's see. Just turn the timer off so it doesn't just keep going on. Alright, they're looking a little blonde on top, but I've never made them with almond milk before, so I don't know if this is, I guess it means other than the egg, this is plant-based. That was not, no it's not, I use collagen peptides, that is not plant-based. So, let's see, the direction card that I wrote down, until toothpick in center comes out mostly clean. So, we'll pick one of these ones on the top. Hey girl, hey! It's done! Oh. Got my oven off. We're going to move the muffins onto a rack to cool for a bit. And hopefully muffins will be devoured. But yeah, we're gonna let these dudes cool for just a little bit and then we'll come back and test them out. I have excellent news. The muffins managed to come out intact. And They're all nice and golden brown. I'm very impressed. Because I was, I was concerned. It's hard not to be concerned. Remember, I've never made them with almond milk before. But it says milk of my choice in the recipe. So, here goes nothing. Who doesn't like a good muffin? The texture's a little different than usual. This is a good muffin. So yeah, no complaints. Pivoting is scary, but clearly it's not the worst thing you can do. So, it's really hot in this kitchen, honestly. It's small, but it heats up. I'm gonna finish this muffin on the couch and we'll regroup. Like 15 feet away, but it'll be cooler over there, right? Right. So, back on the couch. Got my muffin. So, I hope that you got a little something out of this. Just know that the kitchen is not as scary as we like to think that it is. Is it a hassle to measure out all of your ingredients and then have to clean everything all up when you're done? Sure, it is. Turns out that everything in life takes work, and doesn't that suck? And if it doesn't take work, I would be suspicious of it. Let's be honest here. So, I'm going to enjoy this muffin. Nice, tasty, reasonably nutritious breakfast, because I'm not at a place yet where I can start substituting out my regular flour for like a gluten-free flour. I'm too scared. You saw how uncomfortable I was just substituting lactate milk for almond milk. That alone. What would happen if I used oat milk in this? I mean, I'm sure it would come out fine, but like oat and oat, that would be. Then if I used oat flour, they would be the most oaty muffins ever. That could be fun. Maybe. Something to think about. Something to plan for the future. When I get more adventurous, because yeah, this was oddly stressful, so I am so glad that even though they look a little different than some of my previous batches, I actually think that the domes rose up and much higher than they usually do, and yeah, the taste is a little different, but it's not like whoa different, and yeah. Success. Baking success. So I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Make something tasty. Have something tasty. Just, reward yourself. Treat yourself. And when all else fails, don't forget to just chuck and roll. And use proper milk substitutes when you need to. Muffin, 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 muffins. Look at all them muffins.